and welcome. My name is Alan and we are back with another video on trusts and monopolies. But this one isn't dealing with an actual monopoly in and of itself. This one is more about something I've been discovering while looking up a lot of these companies for this and that in the different videos. In this one, we are talking about why so many companies are being incorporated in Delaware while their actual headquarters is elsewhere. What we have is apparently called the Delaware General Corporation Law. And it is according to Wikipedia here, it is a statute of the Delaware Code that governs corporate law in the United States, or in the United States state of Delaware. The statute was adopted in 1899. Since then, Delaware has become the most prevalent jurisdiction in the United States for corporate law. Delaware is considered a corporate haven because of business-friendly corporate laws compared to other U.S. states. 66% of the Fortune 500, including Walmart, Apple, two of the world's largest companies by revenue, are incorporated and therefore have their domiciles for service of process purposes in the state. Over half of the publicly traded corporations listed in the New York Stock Exchange, including the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, International Exchange, are incorporated in Delaware. So yeah, this is interesting. From Forbes Advisor, why incorporate in Delaware? Benefits and considerations. What do 68% of Fortune 500 companies and 93% of all U.S.-based initial public offerings have in common? They're all registered in Delaware. And many of the same nondescript brick building on North Orange Street. The one thing you often see when you look up this information is when they talk about where a place is incorporated, Wilmington, Delaware. Wilmington, Delaware. I see so many places that are being incorporated there, even though they have their headquarters in another state. Benjamin Franklin once said, "In this world, nothing can be certain except death and taxes, unless you're incorporating in Delaware, in which case only the first thing." Okay, maybe that's not exactly the quote, but that's the idea here. Ideal here. Incorporating in Delaware has significant tax advantages. In this guide, we'll highlight why to incorporate in Delaware. So yeah. In 2020, Delaware saw an additional 250,000 new businesses register in the state, pushing the total number of businesses to over 1.6 million. Delaware has become internationally recognized as a corporate paradise and is home to such famous firms as Amazon, Google, Tesla, Walmart, American Express, and Disney, just to name a few. So yeah, there's a number of companies that have their places registered there, even though their headquarters exist elsewhere. Think about this. Amazon is in Washington, the state of Washington. I think it's headquartered in Seattle. It opened up a second headquarters in Virginia. Google, Mountain View, California. Walmart, Benton, Arkansas. So yeah, just yet they are incorporated in Delaware because they get those tax benefits. As the second smallest state by size and one of the least populous, it may seem odd that Delaware became a business mecca it is today, but since the early 1900s, the state has been incentivizing businesses to stay with lenient tax policies, reduced restrictions, and simplified corporate laws. The key benefits to incorporating in Delaware are tax benefits, privacy, expediency, simplified structure, and corporation court. So yeah, it's ridiculous. That it offers so many advantages as a tax haven, a corporate tax haven. From CNBC, here's why more than 60% of Fortune 500 companies are incorporated in Delaware. More than 60% of the Fortune 500 companies are incorporated in Delaware, according to the state, including Alphabet, parent company of Google, Amazon, CBS, and CNBC's parent company, Comcast. Delaware has cultivated a reputation as being business friendly due to its tax law and unique court system, specifically for corporate legal cases. There may be some complications to small businesses hoping to call Delaware their legal home, though. So yeah, it benefits far more of these large corporations. We got a list of amendments that were added to the statute in 2023 into law, amendments to the General Corporation Law of Delaware in July, and the legislation addresses several significant topics. Amendments relating to sections 152, 153, and 157 deal with authority to sell treasury shares. Section 204, Part 2, ratification of defective corporate acts. And Section 228, Part E, the record date that stockholders are entitled to notice the stockholder action via written consent. Amendments to Section 242 modify the need to reduce the minimum stockholder vote required for charter amendments affecting forward and reverse stock splits. Amendments to Section 262 provide appraisal rights in connection with a transfer, continuance, or domestication, and issues relating to conversions, transfers, domestications, and continuances, and creating a safe harbor in which stockholder approval is not required for a mortgage or pledge of assets under certain circumstances. And this is from the American Bar Association's website. So yeah, I mean, seriously. Why? Why is this allowed? To give them so much room. Looking at the companies, pulling up others. Of course, Walmart, we talked about being incorporated in Delaware. Alphabet Inc., parent company of Google. Cigna, the insurance group. J.P. Morgan Chase, a huge bank. Verizon, giant telecommunications company. I mean, maybe this should be something that is looked into if we really want to cut down on certain monopolies and trusts. Because honestly, one of the biggest issues in the U.S. is this consistent lack of taxes coming from the actual corporations. And that's one thing we need. We need corporations and companies to pay their fair share. But here you have places like Delaware protecting them. It's disgusting is what it is. Corporations and the rich should be paying far more, by and far. Lower taxes on the poor. Lower taxes on the middle class. Lower taxes on the working class. And tax the rich and corporations. Simple. But there are so many loopholes. And Delaware is aiding that. Anyway, as always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.